What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. It is Friday, July 9th, 2021. It is 1:36 p.m. here on the East Coast. We have a very exciting show in store for everyone today. As always, you're alongside my co-host, Gavin Tony. Gavin, welcome to the show. Friday special. We got a lot to break down today in all sports out there. But first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Zach. Listen, I got to watch you yesterday take some batting practice for the Secretary Day. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll explain that later in the show on why I'm conflicted about who I'm going to pick in this. But go ahead, Zach. How you doing?
Yeah, no doubt. Taking a day off today, a little sore, but pretty much the breakdown. I got a friend who throws high 80s, low 90s fastballs, and
You want to just explain it now? Actually,
let's do it. My challenge is I will get 10 hittable pitches, and I have to be able to put at least one in play. Now, I have not played baseball in almost a year, so I am getting back out there for the first time, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm hitting the ball much better than I expected that I would. I'm still working my way up to the fastest cage. I do have to get some live pitching. I can't say I'm fully confident. It's a big bet, but I'm going to bet on myself, continue to put the hard work in, and let's see what we can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Monday when I found out about this bet, I was totally against Mr. Star over here. I said I was going all in on his opponent. After going to the batting cage yesterday, and you guys think I'm just going to let Zach sit there and fail? No, I was giving some pointers. Like I said, I was on what was late, what was early. We got to fix this in the swing, but we're going to fix that. I think it's going to work itself out. I don't know who I'm going to pick, ladies and gentlemen, but when the time gets closer, maybe we have to bring Jake on and do a little at the center mill and do a little interview between the two and see how that goes. But Zach, how do you feel about it right now?
I mean, look, the swing mechanics are getting back to where they need to be. That is step one. Step two is being able to adjust to the speed. So I've spent this last week getting my mechanics in check. Next week's going to be more about adjusting to the speed and getting some live pitching. So if everything can fall in the right place, look, I've gotten my broken shot into a good 3-point shot. So maybe over here in baseball, I can do the same and transform my game.
I don't know about that jump shot, sir.
I drained 3 threes yesterday in our win in street ball. It was pretty fun.
But listen, no free throw shots. 1, 2, 3. Don't make me get the count.
Zach, I beat you, so that's all that matters.
But you wanted me to stop the count, didn't you?
I had a problem with the count.
Yeah, you want me to stop. It's all right.
They asked him. The interviewers asked him if he could hear. He's like, "Of course I can." There's 20,000 viewers. With that being said, that brings us right into our first topic of the day, which is the NBA Finals. Phoenix Suns, pretty easy win in Game 1. Game 2, the Bucks held in a little longer, but again, a pretty comfortable win, a commanding 2-0 lead as they go to Milwaukee Sunday night to play the Bucks there, 118-108. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's take a look at some of the key stats from the game last night. The Bucks started out hot, 29-26 in the first quarter. Bucks fell off in the second, and they actually won the second half of the game, but that second quarter was costly. Giannis, 40 minutes on the floor, 42 points. That's good. Missed some free throws, but that's pretty dang good for your superstar. Here's where the problems lie. Chris Middleton had 11 points in 41 minutes. Lopez had 8. PJ Tucker had 7 in 35 minutes played. Drew Holiday did his thing. He was not efficient, but he had 17 points, 39 minutes. And Pat Connaughton, an unsung hero last night, was able to go out there and get himself 14 points in 34 minutes. The rest of the bench really was non-existent, as you would expect in the NBA Finals. So we'll start with that. Other side of the floor, Mikal Bridges, 27 points. Jay Crowder, 11. DeAndre Ayton, 10 with 11 boards. Devin Booker, 31. Chris Paul with 8 assists and 23 points. And then Cameron Johnson, campaign, Torrey Craig, who unfortunately got hurt last night, all had a little bit of a contributing factor there in the game. Some final stats from the game. Not a big difference in the regular field goal percentage, 48.9% to 45.2%. The Suns, of course, favoring there. 20 of 40 from beyond the arc for the Suns. That's obviously not going to be sustainable. 50% for them versus 9 of 31 for 29%. And then free throws, big difference here, 12 of 14 for the Suns and 15 of 23, which is 65% for the Bucks. Not much others. I mean, 9 turnovers for the Bucks versus 12. Points in the paint obviously were favored towards the Bucks. Giannis getting a lot of the points inside. Other than that, a pretty balanced game. More blocks for the Bucks. The Bucks really had a better game overall, but Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday were not efficient. And of course, the most important factor, besides free throws, is that, I mean, You just can't stop the three-point shooting. You can't stop 20 of 40 from beyond the arc. That's not going to be sustainable. But every night, if the Suns find a different way to win the game, all it takes is 4 of them. I said Suns in 5. I still believe that. I think that Milwaukee can go home and take a win at home, defend the home court. But even in game 1, 118 to 105, again, similar story for Devin Booker and Chris Paul combining for quite a lot of points there. But statistically, if we take a look at it, they were only 32.4% in that game. So I'll ask you this, Gavin, for anyone who's still a Bucks believer. The Bucks couldn't win a game when the Suns shot 34% from beyond the arc, which is about the NBA average. They certainly aren't going to win when they shoot 50% from beyond the arc. At this point, what's it going to take for the Bucks to be able to come back and win this series? Because 13-point loss, 10-point loss, that's where we stand right now.
Well, Zach is going to take Christopher Middleton. Zach, new nickname alert. It's not Chris Middleton, it's Christopher now. Just want to let you know that. It's going to take him to actually play to his contract. I mean, Zach, 5 years, $177 million is a couple $1 million short of the max deal. I mean, you would want him to play like a max player. He is an all-star for crying out loud, Zach, but he didn't look like it last time. 11 points in 41 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, look, it's not about the point. I mean, yes, Chris Middleton can do other things defensively at some points and stuff. But when you play 41 minutes, you have to at least be, and you're an all-star, you should have at least 20. Drew Holiday was inefficient, but he did get his points when needed to. It was Giannis versus everybody last night. And here's the reason why that won't work. Is because when you have a team, it's like we talked about throughout the show, you have a team in the Phoenix Suns that they're it, man. They're just the it. They check all the boxes. You have a leader, which is Chris Paul. You have your superstar, which is Devin Booker, and you can also say Chris Paul as well. You have a player that wants to prove something. That's DeAndre Ayton. You have great role players that buy into the roles. That's Cameron Johnson. That's Cameron Payne. That's Jay Crowder. Bridges, and the crew. Torrey Craig, I know, who just went down with injury last night. Dario Saric, who went down in game 1. Those guys understand what they're here to do, and they buy in and they believe it. You also have a great coach in Monty Williams. Zach, did you get a chance to go on Instagram today and see that one-on-one moment between DeAndre Ayton and Monty Williams?
Yeah, I did.
That's
leader right there.
That's special. And with DeAndre Ayton, yes, he didn't kill him in points last night, but he stepped his play up after that. This team reminds me of the Golden State Warriors when they first won their championship. You had your superstar, you had the guy, you had the voice, the leader, which would be Draymond Green. You had your 2 stars, your all-stars, and superstar and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And then you had the bench. You had Barbosa, Livingston, Space. David Lee and the crew. Harrison Barnes. That team checks so many boxes. The one thing that reminds you, and the reason why, and to answer your question, is that Milwaukee just shot everything they had. 42 points from Giannis, didn't get the job done. I mean, it looked nice, but Zach, they just were hot. And it's hard to be a team when they make 20-plus threes. I mean, Zach, asked the Philadelphia 76ers in game 1 versus the Hawks. I mean, it's not happening. Even though that game ended up being close at the end, but it's just not happening. It's hard for me to stay here and say Suns in 4 because I do believe in the Bucks' home court advantage and the Milwaukee crowd will rally behind them. But Suns, I said Suns in 6. I might go back and say Suns in 5 now.
Yo, look, I've held on to that. I believe they're the better team. You said it, Gavin. Perfect point guard, perfect shooting guard, perfect role players. Could be a little bit better at the 4 position, but Jay Crowder gets the job done. 14 points last night. He stepped up. And they got a lot of role players who are going to do really, really well. So before we do move on, a couple of interesting things that I see from the game, my observations from the game yesterday. Giannis was +3 on the night. +3. That is incredible. That is amazing. He played, 40? So in his 40 minutes that he played, all but 8 minutes of that game, +3 with him on the court. Chris Middleton, -15. Gavin, what do you think of that?
For a guy that has a bum leg, Zach, for a guy that we questioning, he's out here playing it out of his mind. He was the only person on his team that was positive the whole night. And Zach, they played 10 people last night? Around there, give or take. I know the math is off, ladies and gentlemen.
They played 8 legit players last night.
8 legit players, and he's the only positive one. That says something. Giannis is trying to come out here and win. He knows what it's going to take. He knows what it is. And Zach, real quick, how are you Chris Middleton and not go to the free throw line once? I mean, it's unbelievable. he doesn't go not once. And also too, Zach, the Suns' game plan is to make Giannis shoot free throws. It's a heck of Giannis with not trying to. Giannis is going to give you. I mean, he's 11 to 18 last night, 61% from the free throw line. You got to make all your free throws. Those are easy 2 points, and sometimes they're one pointers at the end if you don't make them. But it's amazing to see a guy that had a horrific injury in the Eastern Conference Finals, 4 or 5 days ago, come out and is having a historical night last night in the plus minus department.
Yeah, that he did. I think there's no denying that 100%. Again, on the other side, we have some background from ESPN. Thank you for that. But plus 10 for Jay Crowder, plus 7 for Mikal Bridges, plus 10 for DeAndre Ayton, plus 9 for Chris Paul, and plus 10 for Devin Booker. Every player that played more than 2 minutes last night had a positive plus minus for that team. Says a lot about them. And they had the perfect combination. It's no shocker. They've gotten to where they are. They beat some good teams to get here, and I expect them to win this title.
So, Zach, let me ask you this question, because this question was circulating around ESPN. And I want to ask you this.
ESPN's giving us.
As ESPN wants to get on this conversation, too. Hold on.
We're good now. I promise. We're good now.
Do you think this championship will have an asterisk on it, with a little stain on it? Because from what I was hearing is injuries. And before I let you go, I just want to say, yes, injuries are part of the game. It sucks. You don't want to see no one get hurt. But sometimes in the playoffs, it's also survival. It's who can stay healthy the longest. So I don't think there's going to be asterisks to this championship. There shouldn't be. But what do you think?
Like you said, injuries happen every year. That Clippers team, no one expected Reggie Jackson to play like an all-star in that series. So even though Kawhi went down, Reggie Jackson was putting up a hell of a fight. The Lakers were pretty banged up, but that happens. That's life. That's the game. No asterisk this year, especially considering that you're back in real stadiums with fans and everything. So I think the real title this year, that when they win it, whoever wins, it will be a real win, a real championship, and the Larry O'Brien Trophy will be as authentic as it ever should be.
This is actually one of the best finals in a while, Zach, because you have two teams that did the process right. They rebuilt, they developed a star, and they got pieces to play along with each other. They didn't join up with somebody else, and no one came here. Whoever wins, if the Milwaukee Bucks lose, they're still winners. They did the process right. Now you got to come back next year and actually win it.
Again, this is the year to do it, though, because Brooklyn's getting tougher. A lot of teams in the Eastern Conference are getting tougher. We'll break all that down. Look, we got the rest of the summer after this championship for the wild offseason that we will get before another short turnaround going into next season as they try to get the season back on schedule for an 82-game season. We'll be here to break all of it down, but of course, first things first, the NBA Finals, will continue to cover it. Game 3, Sunday night in Milwaukee. Stay tuned for that. We'll continue to cover the series and more. But coming up after this, we will give a quick breakdown of the end of the NHL season, and then we will go on to my hottest take of the season so far in baseball. Can it start to become true here late in the year?
Not even close.
Stay tuned. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. All right, first of all, congratulations again to the Tampa Bay Lightning on winning back-to-back titles. The Flyers offseason is going to be hectic. We're going to continue to cover that. We'll get our good friend Chris on. We haven't had it on in quite a while. But let's get – I know the lighting's horrible here for it, but we get the point. Philadelphia Phillies, they're one game below 500, which is fine. Because let's be honest here. A month ago, we didn't think they could get back to this moment. They are in second place in the NL East. It is starting to look up for them. Here's why. Phillies, Nationals, Braves, and Mets. It is a 4-way race for first place. The New York Mets are starting to exhaust themselves. DeGrom is starting to not be able to finish his starts, despite the fact that he's having a tremendous season so far. You can't deny that. Offense continues to be great. But they'll start falling off at some point. And I said this the other day. They have the Pirates for, Jesus, I didn't realize it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games against one of the worst teams in baseball. They'll get exhausted at some point. They'll come out of that a couple more wins. They'll hold on to first place for a little bit. But once we get into August, once we get after the trade deadline and teams start making moves, there's going to start to be some things going on here. The Mets will begin to cool down, as they already have began to. And that will be the opportunity for the other three teams. Now, we talked about this the other day. I'm repeating myself. But let's just talk about what's going on in the rest of the division. The Atlanta Braves, who lost the series to the Pittsburgh Pirates, play tonight in Miami. And they've had their struggles this year against the Marlins. They then have to go home to play Tampa after the All-Star break. And then they go to home against San Diego, and then they're home against the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets to round out July. That's plenty of opportunity for the Phillies. Now let's talk about, once again, the Mets. They play Pittsburgh pretty much for a while now, Cincinnati, and then their schedule starts getting tougher as they play the Blue Jays, they play the Braves, and then they go on to continue to play the rest of the division, and then they go on to play teams like the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Padres. A gruesome road trip for the Mets to be able to go up against as a young team. And then, of course, the Washington Nationals. And first of all, record-wise, let's just clear this up. Phillies at 42-43, Braves 42-44, Nationals 42-44. Let's talk about the Nationals. The Nationals, who are getting red hot. A team that was up 8-0 on the San Diego Padres in the bottom of the fourth inning yesterday. Max Scherzer, the ace of that team, arguably the second best pitcher in the NL East, possibly third behind Zach Wheeler, depending on which one you get. He gave up a grand slam to a relief pitcher and allowed the Padres to come back. They were down 8-0. They were down 8-0.
Oh, it was a relief. I didn't know it was a relief. I thought it was somebody else. A rookie
relief pitcher. A rookie relief pitcher.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Not only that, but they're tied 8-8 into the ninth inning. Bad decision by the pitching staff in Washington. They give up a walk-off. Game's over. They lose embarrassingly to the Padres. I have no faith in the Nationals. I'll get them out of here. It's the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets. Now let's talk about the Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies, who are beating up on a very depleted Chicago Cubs team. So let's not overreact, but let's look at the start of this month. Let's start with the first game of the month against the Padres. 4-3 win for the Phillies over the Padres. 4-2 win over the Padres. And then, of course, the July 4th episode where they lose 11-1. You're still winning that series.
You're in attendance for. Make sure everybody knows that.
I was there for that game, but they went on to win the series against one of the hottest teams in baseball. And then their offense has been electric against the Cubs. One bad game against them, they take 3 of 4. And now where do we stand? As I said before, 4 games back of the first place Mets. The wild card is pretty much out of the picture, although the Phillies are one of the closest teams in the wild card right now, behind the Padres and the Dodgers. But, of course, you're not going to catch them. So you have to win the division to go to the playoffs. But today I still stand by my case, and I've reaffirmed it for 3 times now, that I believe the Phillies will make the playoffs this year. It is time they break through. Joe Girardi is making good managerial decisions. The team is responding well, and the offense is jumping up to big leads. And the offense will have to do it against Boston starting tonight if the game happens, as Elsa's remnants are still running through Boston. But 3 games against Boston and then a break. You come back to play the Marlins and the Yankees, who they've played well against, and then they play at home in a 4-game series against the Braves and a 4-game series against the Nationals. They round out July with 2 games in Pittsburgh against the horrible Pirates. Now, why do I emphasize the end of July? It's the trade deadline. The Phillies may be buyers at the trade deadline, and they might get just enough pieces to be able to go on and make a run at the playoffs. And I've been saying this since March. I feel good about this team. They have reasons to make me not feel good about them. But if I have a choice to hold to my stance or jump ship, I'm going to stay right here.
Well, hold on. Before I get in that was nice, Ari. Like I like that. I like the building up you did for the Phillies because you're gonna make me look like the bad guy for what I'm about to say. But before I get into that, do you extend Joe Girardi after this year?
I have no idea right now.
See that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If the Phillies are gonna make a run for the playoffs, and you gotta remember, Zach, you're talking about a team in the Mets, and you've seen how they done it. Now it's that give or take the Mets spent money, did some things, didn't come out to where they expected to be, but they are division leaders right now. They can't get runs up over ticket to go. Okay. Nationals are garbage. right? Miami Marlins are back to where they should be at the bottom of everything, and yeah. But do you really think they can really keep the Braves off? See, Zach, this is what happened a couple years ago. It was a 2 to 3 way tie for first and second place, right? All the Phillies had to do at the end of the year was just win, 5 games? Just keep winning, because I think
They had to be they had a comfortable lead at one point.
they had to come to lead. Here's where I don't believe in it. When you got guys like Hector Neris and
Who has not seen the mound in days.
which he needs to stay away from it at all times. Okay, so the bullpen is a big problem. We know that, right? Jose Alvarado hasn't been. He's been all right. It's like, I mean, I haven't really been keeping up with him recently, but
And De Los Santos has been playing pretty well, and then you had Archie Brown who's doing well.
those are 3 arms. It's like you need to. The bullpen needs to be, and I'm not saying they have to be solidified. They not saying that to be the best of the best. But when your ace, Zach Wheeler, not Aaron Nola, because that's another story. I'm gonna get into that in just a second. When your ace, Zach Wheeler, leaves the mound, let's say in 7 innings, can he make sure that those next 2 innings aren't runs given up? Like, this bullpen is unpredictable. It really is. It's like I read a statue earlier in the year, around wintertime, when I said if the Phillies didn't give up as much runs as they did last year, they would have had one of the best records in baseball.
That's my argument right there. That was my argument in the beginning of the year. Yes, the bullpen's been as bad or worse than last year, this year so far. But that's been my argument, is that they're 1 or 2 good relievers and closers. 2 phones in one day. But a good reliever and a closer away from being a really good team.
And another thing too, Zach, is you want me to buy into your statement? They have to be buyers. They're never buyers at the trade deadline. I've seen guys like Josh Donaldson move teams to Atlanta, and everybody goes everywhere. But the Phillies never buy, and that goes for all Philly teams. They need to be buyers at the trade deadline. They need to be. If you want me to believe, because right now it's like I admit they look great. They look great. You win the series versus the Padres.
You got energy and momentum, and that's the most important thing. Even though it was
energy, momentum, and your starter and the people that you need to help you is that you help you. And Zach, my final thing is go out and go get yourself another piece that can help you stay. Joe Girardi, we can talk about this Zach another day. You know how I feel about Joe. I think he needs to stay. I mean, if he makes playoffs, I think you have to keep him. You have to.
I mean, look. The Phillies, they have so much talent on paper. I always talk about it. Bryce Harper's batting .283 this year. They're finally moving the lineup around. They're finally making adjustments day in and day out. They're making moves that make sense. I mean, I'm happy with what's happened in the start of July. It's been a really strong start to the month, but they have to maintain it. They got to keep winning series, getting the majority. If they win 2 games against Boston, I'm convinced that they can go on a run.
If they win 2 games versus Boston, Zach, I'll buy into your statement.
But until then, we don't know, because the rotation does not match up nicely for the Phillies at all.
And another thing too, Zach, is the money that you pay Aaron Nola, you need to get a refund. I don't know if you can get a refund. I don't know how that works. Zach, you're a businessman.
Hopefully, the All-Star break is good for him, and he can take 5 or so days off to really shape up.
Zach, he pitched 60 games, and he still couldn't do anything. Look, Zach, this is going to be controversial. I'm about to say. Remember in the offseason, I said you need to go out and go get Trevor Bauer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know Trevor Bauer is in a lot of hot water right now. It's steaming hot water. But you need to go get him. Because Aaron Nola is not an ace. Zach Wheeler has.
He was available. Yu Darvish was available. Blake Snell was available.
They gave up Blake Snell for nobody, really.
I mean, Snell hasn't had a great year, but he's still better than nothing. Who else was on the list? Bauer out of Cincinnati.
Bauer. I think Sonny Gray was up there, wasn't he?
Oh, and from Tampa. What's the other guy's name?
Which didn't have a great showing against us the first time. You just need something.
We didn't know that going into it.
You just needed something.
How they have Tyler Glasnow, Charlie Morton, and Blake Snell in the same rotation?
I think Charlie Morton went there after he left Houston. Tyler Glasnow was built there. Zach, Zach, you want to talk about amazing rotation? Let's talk about Detroit and how they had Verlander and Scherzer and somebody else at the same time.
Pitching is the key to winning a World Series.
But pitching is the key in the playoffs too.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. I'm not going to discredit this. Seems like your statement doesn't look as crazy as today.
But they have to pick up momentum and keep it. They can't drop it. Silly.
They have to be buyers at the trade deadline. They have to be. Not sellers, have to be buyers, big buyers.
Got to go on. You can get good relief pitchers for next to nothing. You can trade Bohm and start getting some pieces too. I mean, Alec Bohm might be on the trade block this year. I'm not convinced that he's going to be able to continue to build up.
Alec Bohm digressed horribly. Can't feel the ball. Can't even hit. This kid was supposed to be the future. And now he's already in the past after what, a year and 60 games and what?
That's going to be rookie of the year.
I'm glad he didn't win it because that would have been fool's gold, Zach.
Yeah, it would have been crazy. That was the Twitter handle last year. Boom for rookie of the year.
Boom for rookie, yeah.
He's fallen off. Some guys have fallen off. Some guys have popped off for this team. But Brad Miller last night, he might be in the lineup again tonight. He had a really good night.
Brad Miller had what, 2 home runs, 3 home runs?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, 3 hats. 3 hats. Like I didn't know the hats were a thing until last night.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're building momentum. They're working as a team. I like what I'm seeing from this team, but again, time will tell. But I'm just surprised that the Nationals won 8-0 lead.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, let's clarify. We're not talking about making plus and making a run for the World Series. We're talking about making it there. She's making it there.
Yeah, have to see. It's gonna be an interesting one. Well, with that being said, PGA Tour continues to go on. We got a big fight coming up tomorrow for Conor McGregor. We'll see how that fans out. But with that being said, thank you everybody for joining us. We will see you all possibly Sunday night. We'll see if we can get something put together. But until then, have a great.
Zach, you see me? McGregor out here. Poirier, you're going. I can't even say because he got knocked out. And real quick, Zach, I can't let this go out unnoticed. Two final things. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Zach, I know we were gonna get into it for a second, but our Phillies got in the way. I thought Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. I guess it does.
I'm in Florida, what kind of hockey team win Stanley Cup 2 years in a row?
Kucherov and those guys, Steven Stamkos. And finally, Zach, we're gonna get into another day. Don't forget, I still have my thoughts about the Olympics, Sha'Carri Richardson, and how I feel about that. Zach, I'll save it for another time, though.
Thank you again, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll have some more shows going next week. Until next time, have a good one.
How it going, everybody? Great.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our